Good evening, all, and welcome back to FPL Double Pivot. It's Friday, so that means one thing only. It's time for the fixture decoder for game week 13. Now, listen, sometimes we look at the decoder and we think, that's a green fixture, but is it really in reality? Quite often, either attack or defence are the green part of it, and maybe there's actually a red element to it. Sometimes that fixture we think, I need to attack that fixture, it's a lot easier. Often that's not the case. And when we do look deeper, we can find opportunity and more points and a higher rank. I'm FPL Veteran. If it's the first time you joined the show tonight, welcome along. Please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. There's plenty in the chat already. Thanks very much for joining. Paul's in the chat. Produce in the chat. Colin Johnston's in the chat. Everyone's in the chat. Eddie's in the chat. We're all here. Evening, lads and ladies. Hope everyone's well. Hope you had a fantastic game week 12. Again, for those that are kind of new to the channel, I held Eze for 8 game weeks, and yeah, I kind of sold him last game week. Clearly a very, very big mistake, but hey, listen, we all make mistakes. The key is to just make less, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The key is to make less. Paul's in the chat as well. Good to see you, and so is Colin. Good to see you, ladies and gents. Right, let's get into it straight away. It's Friday, everyone's busy. Black Box is on as well, so if I get more than a few viewers, I'm more than happy. More than happy. It's a hard show to rival. Right, we're going to quickly talk about how I got on game week 12. And listen, it was good. It was good. I mean, obviously, there's a glaring omission in there. Eze, yeah, I did take him out. However, I still half my rank. I was about 750k and I got up to 319, mainly due to Rodgers. And I've been banging on about Rodgers for a wee while now. A good 2-3 weeks. I've owned them for 3 weeks. And I think we kind of forgot from last year, he had that swagger, cut about. He is quality in the ball. He's fantastic to watch. It's kind of like a Foden when he gets going. And yeah, 2 goals, all 3 bonus points. So it was beautiful. It was good to see. And actually, it was good to see he got awarded it. Not like the other week where he didn't get the assist. So yeah, it's not bad. And Prod just put in the chat, I've seen much worse mistakes than selling Eze. I'll take that, mate. I'll take that. It was a mistake in hindsight, but Sar has Burnley coming up. So we'll see how it evens out over 2 or 3 game weeks, It was a mistake on my part because you don't want to take out a like-for-like player. Both their ceilings on the same day was round about the same. So really, I should just have saved the transfer. But hey, you didn't think Eze was going to bang 3. I've been looking at him for ages, and I've been banging on about him. He's been unlucky actually. He's had a lot of block shots. He's been in the right positions. That's just one of those game weeks. Where else? Petrovic and Senesi. Senesi got defensive contributions. I didn't like the Bournemouth game, but West Ham. Yeah. I mean, you've got to kind of play it. There's no point not. With Senesi, he's going to play anyway. So it's between Vicario and Petrovic, and they both got a point. So yeah, it ended about the same. Elsewhere in defence, Chalobah was good, came in with 6. However, Chelsea are getting lucky at the back, and they're definitely going to concede. I think Arsenal are going to score maybe more than a few, but we'll come on to the predictions at the end. Munoz and LaCroix, listen, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. LaCroix with 11 and Munoz with 14. I was actually thinking, there wasn't many captaincy options the other day, and it dawned on me. I was never going to do it, so I'm not going to say that I was, but we kind of forgot about Munoz this week. Last week he played a really, really poor Wolves side, and he did score. He did get 14 points, and Haaland blank. So I didn't see anyone who went there. But if you did, it's easy to forget, isn't it? And I know one goal kind of wrecks that, but he plays so high that is the risk worth the reward? I think it is. Back in midfield, Sarr didn't do anything with 3 points over Eze, so I lost that one 17 points. But hey, we still did well. Gakpo done nothing. Liverpool in absolute decline right now. Funnily enough, though, I think they might get back on track against West Ham. I do. I think they will do well coming up. And we'll come on to that when we talk about the fixtures, which is why we're here. Elsewhere, Haaland, yep, listen, he blanked. I actually thought, and the reason I captained him over, I was even thinking maybe Rodgers. I thought a little punt, go Rodgers. But I thought Haaland was gonna smash him. I really, really did. And I thought he was going to score 2 goals. And it just shows us that there is more options. Now, listen, City have got Leeds this weekend and they're missing 2 vital players. So I would not go against Haaland. I wouldn't. I know D Unit. I think he's captain in Foden. So good luck. Good luck to him, mate. But yeah, this is not the week to go against Haaland. Please, for the love of God, do not go against Haaland this week. If I give you one piece of advice, it's that one. More in the chat. Gary from Podcast is in. Gary, good to see you, mate. Again, if you're not following, if you're not seeing the shows, go over and follow him. Trig and the gang. It's really, really good. Colin Johnson said, free hit. Yeah, we'll discuss a free hit. We'll discuss free hit. But yeah, you're right. He says he's keeping Munoz. You have to keep Munoz. He's just a quality. He's just a quality player, isn't he? He is an absolute quality player. Yeah, and elsewhere, that was pretty much it. Nothing else to write home about on the bench. Gabriel, I'm going to hold. He's only dropped by 0.1, so I'm going to hold him. Reinders, I'm actually going to play this week. I'm fairly confident he starts this weekend. I really am. He's a bit more attacking. He's a bit more pragmatic. Yeah, you've got Foden in there. Listen, it's Pep. We don't know who's going to play, but I don't really think Doku is the right player for this. He's done really, really well. He's good at jinking in, and he's starting to get an end product. But yeah, I think Reinders have been there, Foden, but it's how do they play? Especially with Rodri being out, though. I can see Reinders maybe going back in the Rodri position against a team that aren't really going to attack. You know, they're going to get absolutely dominated. They're going to dominate possession, and I think it push forward. So I think, yeah, I think he's a good pick. But we'll come on to my team. Oh, look, there it is. But we'll come on to my team in a little bit. We're going to go into what we're here for, ladies and gents. And again, as I go through the fixtures, just put in the chat, put in the comments after as well what you think. And it's always good to see. You know, sometimes we look at the decoder or the fixtures and we think, that's an easy game. But it's not. On the forefront, it's not. And I'm going to show you why it's not. And I'm going to show you why it's important to track, keep your notes, and especially the eye test. Yeah. Okay, use data. Yeah, use data, but you need the eye test. Discomfort is in. Kieran, good to see you, mate. He's joined along. Been watching Shane about at the same time. Hey, legends, absolute OGs of the chat. It's good to have you along, especially on a Friday. I'm not used to doing it on a Friday. I might move it from Friday morning to Friday night because I feel a bit giddy on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean? I feel excited. It's that hope in FPL that kills you, isn't it? And it's all that hope on a Friday until Saturday evening. You're like, yeah, hopefully not with this week. Hopefully we're not. Right. Anyway, I'm going to go into Fixture Ticker. I'm using Fantasy Scout. Listen, I say every time I'm not affiliated with it or anything, but I've been using it since probably I started playing fantasy football, or well, at least since it came out, which is probably after I started playing fantasy football. And yeah, it's a good, it's a fantastic website. The link's down below if you want to use it. Again, I'm not affiliated with them, but they're really, really good. Most of these know. What I like about this fixture ticker though is you can change so much. Do you know what I mean? The colours wise, you can change it. I have it on custom, okay, because again, we're going to change it and we're going to adapt how difficult it is and decode it. But yeah, you can go like old school FBL. You can go like this OG when it was just like blue and red, and it was quite hard to see. It's a bit of a nightmare to see. Colorblind, if you're colorblind, it's fantastic. And then custom, which is what we're going to go on. All right, because again, we need to reevaluate every single week. We need to reevaluate, and there's so many different things that caveat the score. Don't get me wrong, you might be able to go, yes, it looks like a 2-1, and it might come in, but there's so much stuff that you have to caveat with it. Keep an eye out next week, because on the pod, I'm going to be releasing my process, my four stage lock in for a captain and for choosing a player and for taking them out, but more importantly, for locking them in. And yeah, that'll be out over the weekend. So it's cast a wee beady eye on that. You come down to the colours. You can edit the colours. So if you want difficult green for some reason, I don't know, maybe you're looking for attack or whatever, again, you can change this for attack and defence. But for me, I like to just have an overall. I think it'd be good if you could half this. Do you know what I mean? Half attack. The first edge would be defence, and then the second half would be attack. That'd be really good. Should be able to do that. Anyway, I like it on this. What we're going to set it to, right? It's on 10 game weeks. I think this season more than ever, we're probably shorter term than we normally are. People would probably be, I don't know, between 1 and maybe 6 or 7. Maybe some long term people are 10 game weeks. But so much changes in that time of teams. I mean, look how many managers we've been through. You know what I mean? It changes the whole of the team. Look at Forest. Again, kids in the chat have been banging on about Forest. Like, we kind of forgot that they were a team that achieved Europe last year, and they've got some really, really good players in there. No, yeah, they've got an old school manager, but obviously that's the kind of manager that gets you 3-0 win at Anfield. So we're going to shorten this down, okay? We're going to shorten this down to we're going to go to 4 game weeks. All right. I think that's quite relative, especially over this busy game week period. All right. We've got games at the weekend, then we've got midweek games, then we've got weekend games again. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it over the Christmas period. Okay. And I'm just double checking here. Game week 18, game week 19. I mean, you could go up to 20, couldn't you? Oh, it's a difficult one. Let's go up to let's do 6. In fact, we'll do 5. Do 5. That gives us a little bit of a short term and a little bit of a long term and even a little medium term. You can change them and the team ratings. And this is what we're going to do down here. We're going to go into the team ratings. Okay. Again, drop down the chat what you think the score is going to be. Me and Kieran like doing it in the team matchups. It's good because that gives me an initial thought. But now we're going to go into the defined, the cemented thoughts. Okay, right. Let's start. Let's go. Arsenal, Chelsea. We'll leave that to last. He's hang around. We'll leave this to last. Okay. What we are going to do is we're going to sort, not by name, we're going to sort by difficulty. All right. So already have a look up here. This is done for 5 weeks. At the top, we've got City, Liverpool, funnily enough, Forest's up there, and even Newcastle. All right. If we come down or in the middle, we've got Villa, we've got Arsenal in the middle. They've got some toughish fixtures, maybe you would think. And then at the bottom, listen, you've got Leeds, West Ham, Sunderland, surprisingly, down there. Then the likes of Chelsea and Everton. All right. Chelsea just had a really, really good run. It's now coming, you could say it's coming to a bit of an end, but listen, look, after Arsenal, they've got Leeds. Then they've got Bournemouth and they've got Everton. So, listen, in this, for me, in this tight, packed Christmas period, I want a player that I can fairly be happy I'm going to hold through. All right. Unless I'm going to go for like a short term punt of like 1 or 2 weeks, I want to hold them through this period. Point to note, I'd probably look at the teams that don't have Europe. Yeah, you likes of Brentford. All right, for me, I'm pretty set. I think I'm probably going to get Thiago in this weekend because he's got no Europe. Another team, D Unit's team, Man United. Yeah, listen, I know Man United are poor. I know they're rubbish. I know they're 1 game away from implosion every single time, but they don't have Europe. So it's something else that we have to take into consideration. All right. For instance, when I see United, I mean, listen, Bruno had quite a few chances the other day, and he dodged all the points. So I don't think I want to go through that hiding behind the sofa again. Nevertheless, anyway, let's crack on. So we've got City Leeds, all right, light green fixture, and listen, City's fixtures now over the next 4 or 5 are pretty good. You got Leeds, Fulham, Sunderland, Palace, and West Ham. Remember, Palace have got a really thin squad and they've got Europe. All right, so they're already starting to get tired. They got beat midweek. They're gonna get even more tired. All right, and City, we all know City start motoring at this part of the season, and I want a piece of that City. Listen, I've got Haaland. I've also got Reinders. So I'm pretty confident, but yeah, I do want a third one. If I was going to take a punt, I didn't have another City midfielder that was going to bring in. I'd probably go for Foden. I would. I just think it's Foden's kind of game. Doku, listen, Leeds will sit back, so they need someone who can push up. Same with Guardiola. I'd probably get Guardiola or a certain O'Reilly. Very, very good at home. I think he's got 30 odd points over the last 3 home games. So definitely look at him. This one's a fairly straightforward one. I mean, let's go down. Let's have a gander, right? City, where are they? I mean, they're near the top, 12.50. They're at home. Haaland needs his 1,000th goal. He's going up. He's going up even more. We're going to push up to about here. All right. Leeds. Listen, Leeds have been poor. Leeds have been really, really poor. And unfortunately, I think it's only going to get worse. I really do. If I just get my wee notes out here, I done a wee thread earlier, so have a look on the channel, FPL Veteran and FPL Double Pivot, and it's on there. And it's just basically thoughts and what I see through the eye test, all right, which you don't see in there. You don't. The points I've got are on a bad run of losses and conceding goals constantly, which they are. They can't stop that rot even at home, all right, and that does not spell well for a team that stays up. You've never had a team at this stage of the season that have got the amount of points that Leeds have and have stayed up. All right, it's just not going to happen. Pressure's mounting on Daniel Farke as well. I spoke to a few Leeds fans, and yeah, it's not good. They're not playing good football, and I think they're thinking about a change. To give them to give them any chance of staying up. And just another one, kind of like a bit of a shout from me is they get a lot of yellows now in a game. And I think I'd expect a red over this period at some point, maybe even a few. They're going to get some rash challenges, probably give away penalties, that kind of thing. So they're going to come way down, all right? Way down. I mean, Fulham wasn't even that much higher than them, so way down. We come back up, and now Leeds are a bright, bright green fixture. Listen, we knew that anyway. I get that. We knew that. Of course, you want City assets, but no one's really tripling up, even doubling up, really. For me, again, I've doubled up, and I might get O'Reilly for the triple. Again, this run's fantastic, and we know what City do over this run. They just keep getting results after result. Okay, so that's a straightforward one. Liverpool West Ham. Let's go into this. And by the way, what we do is after this is I'll put up a screenshot of the original colours. All right, and then I'll put up what we had after, and then in that gap of opportunity, that's where I pinpoint what player I'm going to go for. All right, or at least say to the masses, if you're looking for a pun, or someone who's underrated, e.g. a Rodgers, e.g. an Eze. All right, so it works. This season, the eye test has been working. And if you know the man across from me, not tonight, but during the week, FPL Discomfort, top content creator, all right? Maybe if I kept Eze, I wouldn't be far behind him, but that's a different story. Anyway, Liverpool, West Ham, right? This is an interesting one. West Ham are at home, Liverpool away. It's maybe good for them because they've just had 2 losses at Anfield, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane when you think they're so strong at home, usually at Anfield, and they hadn't lost in ages, all right? We're going to come down. Can we get them in the same screen? Yeah, we can. Right now, West Ham's down there, okay? And I would say that, yeah, they're slightly ahead of Wolves, behind Sunderland and Forest, although these will go up, all right? I'm probably going to put them just a little bit ahead of Wolves, all right? Liverpool-wise, I mean, look, City have pushed way out. Liverpool, they're way up there. They're just behind Arsenal. No. Not on FPL Veterans Watch. They're going to come down. And the reason for that is, listen, they've still got a decent attack. They still do have a good attack, though they've not really done much, and they've got an injury, a few injuries. Verts is out. Ekitike doesn't look like he's going to make the squad again. Maybe that's a good thing. Slot's been talking about making changes, and listen, there's a lot of changes he normally makes. Gakpo sits on the bench quite often. Isaac's been swapping. Soberslai's been coming in and out. I tell you now, Salah's very, very lucky that Frimpong is not fit, because if it is, he, he I even think there's a benching coming for him anyway. I really, really do. I don't know what formation he would play with them, and it'd have to be down to players available. But I think there's a benching coming before he goes to AFCON. I really, really do. And listen, everyone's always said, Salah's not a track back player. Yeah, he's not. He's a luxury player. Yeah, it is. But he still has to track back. He still, especially when the team are down like this, the chips are down. You still have to track back. But anyway, we put Liverpool down a little bit. Probably just under Newcastle, especially in form just now. All right, and we'll go back up there and we'll have a little look. Now look, that's changed. That's changed from a light green, from a dark green to a light green. All right. West Ham, just go up a bit. Wolves a bit. Let's go back up. Look, so it's a bit of a darker green instead of a light green. I think it could be tricky for Liverpool. It could. And again, put in there what you think the score is going to be. Score wise, off the top of my head, see, I don't really know. It's a difficult one. Listen, I said last week that Forest would draw with Liverpool. I went for a little Desi. Kieran's in the chat. I went for a little 2-2. But this week, I don't know. Listen, Liverpool's defence is shocking. It is shocking. Let's not get this twisted. It's really, really bad. And I think people are papering over that. I really think they do. And some of the notes I'll put up here is Slot seems increasingly worried on the sideline. And he is. He's already talked about making changes, like I said, and are we about to see Salah benched? Who knows? I think there's a huge chance. Roger's put in the chat there about Soberslai getting assist. Yeah, I can. And listen, do I think Liverpool will grind it out? I actually do think they will. However, I still think they concede. For me, left back position is a bone of contention now. People were talking about, getting Robertson back in. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen in chat, go back and have a look at the highlights or have a look at last weekend's highlights. Robertson was ripped apart again after again after again. And at this stage, unfortunately, he's been a great player. He still is a good player, especially for Scotland, but he's not to the standard. The other day in the qualifier, which luckily Scotland got through, got to the World Cup. I don't think I mentioned that. So yeah, Scotland got through to the World Cup for once. He got ripped apart again. He really did. He's been really, really good. He's been a fantastic Prem player, but he's not good enough. He's not up to the stand anymore. He's already linked with Celtic. I imagine at the end of the season he will go to Celtic. And listen, I think what we do forget sometimes is extenuating circumstances has also affected. If you looked at the Scotland game after where he spoke very, very, very lovingly about Jota and how he was very, very affected. He was one of his, good friends. So listen, that's probably an issue for the drop off as well because you don't get bad overnight. I think that's affected him more than people realise. And a lot of Liverpool fans that I speak to, I think, even though that's not to blame for the overall team, going down or not playing as well, because at the start of the season they were playing fine. Yeah, it definitely contributed. And I've also put in here, I wouldn't want to own a defender currently. The fixtures are improving, and if you've got Van Dijk now, I wasn't an advocate of bringing him in last week. I thought it was a little bit of a bit of a sheep of content creator moves, but this is the fixture that obviously want to play him in. West Ham, they still can't deal with crosses that well. Van Dijk's there. He's not scored this year, so it's a great chance that he actually could, couldn't he? Not for me though. Not for me. I'm not overly scared. If he does score, then so be it. But I'm not. I wouldn't rip apart my team to get him in, and actually, it wouldn't be my first thought. He really, really wouldn't be my first thought to get in. So, score wise, put them in the chat. Put them in the comments if you're watching it back. But I think it'll probably be about a 3-1, something like that. 3-1 Liverpool. Okay, another close game is Forest v Brighton. All right, and it's again, I've been banging on about how Forest are half decent now. They've just gone back to basics, haven't they? They've just gone back to basics. Sean Dyche, and I kind of like that about a team. Do you know what I mean? They're set up well for the big throws. They got a big Milinkovic, who I tell you what, it would not surprise me if Milinkovic scored a goal this weekend against Brighton. Apart from the centre backs, they're not the tallest team, and they don't often deal with set pieces that well. So I've got a sneaky wee suspicion. If I was on a free hit, and so yeah, if I was on a free hit, I'd maybe put Milinkovic in. I would. I'd probably have a little punt on him. I've just got a little bit of a feeling Forest are playing well. They're keeping clean sheets. So there's a clean sheet odd there as well. Listen, you could go Williams as well. I think he's just as good. But let's go down and have a little look at the rating. So, Brighton, can we get them in the same screen? No, we can. Oh, can we? Can we? Where are they? Brighton. There they are, Brighton. Oh, Bournemouth at the top. I don't think they'll get back. Okay, so Brighton are on par with Aston Villa, a little bit ahead of Brentford. Nottingham Forest. Listen, look at this. Nottingham Forest are down here. Sunderland are down here as well. Listen, we already know this. It's 12 weeks of data, 12 weeks of eye test, 12 weeks of my mind in my eyes not deceiving me. Forest are way up here. If anything, I think they're above Newcastle. I really, really do. Don't worry about United because we'll bump them up. And Sunderland will bump up as well. But are they better than Tottenham just now? I'd say they are. So we're going to bump them up just a wee bit. Brighton, listen, they're 2-1 merchants, aren't they? They win 2-1 at home. Sometimes they win away 2-1. They always score and they always concede. But I do think that this is going to catch up with them. So for me, I'm going to put them down just a little bit. And what looked an easy fixture, a green fixture, is now it's like a white fixture. Especially look, Brighton against Forest. Yeah, it's like a white fixture. It's like a not sure either way. I think it's going to catch up with Brighton. And I think either home or away they lose. They're away. They're weaker away than at home. They got a fantastic home record. I think they lose this weekend. I really, really do. Do I think they score? I actually don't. I actually think that Forest score 2-0. I do. Anderson's really, really good. He's getting more involved. He takes corners anyway. He got an assist the other day, so he is making more contributions. And I actually looked at him about 2-3 game weeks ago. I thought it was a bit too early. I think he got a 10 point at that point. So yeah, if you brought him in, fantastic. Well done on that. And yeah, you hold him in these fixtures. You really, really do. I mean, look, they got Brighton, Wolves, Everton, Tottenham, Fulham. That's a great run. And like I'm saying about defence, you got Brighton. If you can keep a clean sheet, then you got Wolves. Then you've got Everton. It'll be a tough game, but tight. Then Tottenham and Fulham. All right. So maybe start looking at a bit the Forest players. All right. People are starting to come round to the idea a little bit. Again, for me, I'd go 2-0. 2-0 for that. Brighton wise, my points. I think Mint has been very fortunate with his assists. He had that kind of dubious one the other day, but hey, listen, some of them get given. So if you had him at the time, fantastic. I know Gary's got him and he's done really well with him, so fantastic for that, mate. Again, they're super strong at home, not as good as away. And again, I put down here the due a defeat sooner rather than later. And for me, I think it could be this weekend. I really, really do. Well, listen, we will wait and see. But if Milinkovic scores, just remember, you heard it here first. Okay, Newcastle, Everton. Now, what do we know about this fixture? Newcastle are notoriously bad after Champions League. And it was Champions League midweek. They got beat. What I think we also need to take into account is, listen, they beat City the other day in nightmare. If Andrew was delighted, as you can imagine. But that took a lot out of them. And midweek, that would have taken a lot out of them. And then, 3-4 days later, they're going to play again against a well set up team, Everton, who now still still put up a great performance. They're still strong at the back, but they're scoring more goals now. And yeah, if we have a look at this colour, look, that's like a white, a bit of a white fixture for Newcastle. And I would say it's about right. If we look at Everton, what is Newcastle rated at? That's like a pure white one. So that's almost into the red. It's a tough fixture. And it is a tough fixture, right? Come down and have a little look at this. Everton, I think they're underrated there. I really, really do. Look at the difference between Newcastle and Everton. I think it's a lot closer. So we're going to come up to here. And Newcastle, again, because it's after Champions League, I'm going to come down a little bit. They've got a few injuries. Burn is back, okay, but Botman's out and Trips is out. He's out for, I think, about 4 to 6 weeks. So they're getting a bit more stretched at the back, a little bit like Brighton, and they're starting to get tired, and their squad isn't as good as other squads. Okay, especially like Everton. All right, they didn't have a game midweek, and now this period becomes important. All right, it really, really does. We'll come back up, have a little look at that. Okay, it's changed. It's changed, all right? So if we find Everton, Newcastle, they're still fourth, all right? That's fine. But yeah, it's more white. Again, it's a tough game for Newcastle. They're away as well. Again, their away record is not very good. Double that up with Champions League. I wouldn't be so sure that Newcastle do well. Listen, it's only the last few games that they've been scoring more goals. They couldn't score many at the start of the season. And we'll have a look at Everton. And look, Everton has turned into a little bit of a green fixture. Now, it's not. Newcastle are still a great team. Let's not get it twisted. But do I think Everton score? I do. I do think Everton score. Do I think Newcastle score? I'm not so sure. I'm more confident that Everton score than Newcastle. A few points on Newcastle that I've got. I've got no interest in Wolf Amadi. He's not clinical enough for me. He's not clinical. We've only got two striker spots really in the lockdown just now. Haaland and Thiago. You might want to go somewhere a little bit differential, but yeah, for me, he's not clinical enough. I know he scored a few for Germany and stuff, but I don't see it. I see a bit of Nunesism about him. I really do. And that's harsh on the guy because he adds a lot more to his game and he does more for Newcastle than just score goals. I get it. A little bit like Kai Havertz. It's not about the goals, but he's been brought in to score the goals. Do you know what I mean? I know the way Newcastle play. He drops in a bit deep, kind of like Kane used to do at Spurs, and the wingers will push in, or the Son back in the day. But listen, the wingers haven't been performing, and he holds it up well, and he looks good on the ball. Just he's not clinical enough for me. Again, I put notoriously poor after Champions League match, and I feel like a penalty is going to be conceded soon by Newcastle. I do. I just think they're getting a little bit sloppy, a little bit tired. I thought Shar last week was very lucky not to give a penalty away, and I just think it's coming. Probably more at home at St James's Park, but away also they could do it. All right, so that's kind of my points on them. Everton wise, listen, they beat United the other day away. If you looked at the record, they hadn't beat them in absolute donkey's years. So well done, David Moyes, with 10 men. I think that says more about United than it says Everton. But listen, he's a resilient manager. He sets up well, and we know what we're going to get with Everton. When you go and play against Everton, either home or away. It's a tough game. You got to be on the ball. So yeah, score prediction wise, again, I put this close. I'm actually going to go for a draw on this. I'm going to go for 1-1. All right. We'll do one more fixture and I'll dip back into the chat and see what everyone's saying because I'm on a different screen. Tottenham, Fulham. Okay, let's have a look. Tottenham are at home. I don't know if that's a good thing. It's probably not a good thing because they've not been playing well at home, have they? So Fulham got a good win at home against Sunderland, who were very, very toothless. We'll come on to them in a minute. And they had 26 shots or 24 shots in that game. So maybe Fulham's not as bad as I think and we think. All right. The squad's not very good. The squad is not good. If you look through it, it is a championship squad. It is. Let's not get this wrong here. One player who does look good is Sessegnon. And if you were going for a free hit, probably not against Spurs, but I don't know. He plays that high. I've seen him in the box. He scored against Bournemouth. He plays very, very high. He had a great opportunity against Sunderland to make it 2. Yeah, I'd maybe have a wee look. If you need someone that's a little bit cheap, a little bit of a punt, you want to go a bit different, I'd maybe go for him. They're solid at home. They are, and now they're away against Spurs, who need to pick up a bit of a win at home, need to get them kind of a rhythm. And yeah, the other one was for me, they have a championship squad. All right. So come down, let's have a look at the rating. They're down, not as low as Leeds, all right. Do you know what? I'm going to pump them up a little bit. And Spurs, yeah, do you know what? I'm probably going to be at the same here, all right. So they're roughly about the same. Come back up, and let's look at that. Yep, Tottenham, again, the kind of white fixtures, all right. You can see there, Tottenham, Fulham, and that makes it difficult. It's harder again for Fulham than it is Spurs, okay, but still, it's not green. You know, we know Spurs haven't been scoring goals. They've been affording the opposition number 10. I mean, look at Eze. He just went right the other day. Romero's not playing. And do you know what? The biggest thing for me is they just plainly cannot defend crosses. They just can't. Again, the other day, United at home, conceding to a corner in the last second of the game. They let back post, no one's on them. They just can't deal with them. Even when Romero is on the pitch, they just can't deal with them. Another thing that makes me think Fulham might do well in this game is Danzo. Listen, Danzo, he might do well in other leagues. For me, he's limited. He is limited. He's a big, strong lad. You know, he's big, powerful. You know, he put a shift in. But for me, he's not technical enough. He's just not good enough on the ball. Doesn't make the right decision, right time. Yeah, I don't think it was the best purchase. So for me, I'm probably bordering on a draw. I'm probably going on a draw for that, really. And listen, they had the best away record, Spurs. Listen, they went away to Arsenal, who are just a step above. They are just a step above. But we maybe need to re-assimilate. I think Thomas Frank is still finding his select 11. And he does have injuries. Like I know all teams have got injuries, but he does, to be fair. A lot of key injuries. Madison, Bissouma, Solanke. You know, there's quite a lot there. And that's a lot of the core of his team. Nonetheless, he has to find a way out of it. All right, he has to find a solution. Will he do it against Fulham this weekend? I'm not so sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if they scraped a little 2-1. Yeah, it wouldn't really. Com's probably in the chat. I don't think Fulham will get battered this weekend like I did last weekend, and Com proved me wrong. But yeah, next up we're going to do Aston Villa Wolves. But I'm just going to quickly dip into the chat, see who's all around as we're going along, ladies and gents. Drop your questions in because I'll do a little Q&A at the end. And there you go. Com's got one in straight away. Com, good to see you. I thought you were here. I could sense the Fulhamness, if that's a word, which clearly isn't a word. Yeah, Com's in. Jackie's in. How you doing? Proj is in. Yeah. Who else is? Sandry. All right, they're all in. They're all in. I like it. Again, drop any questions in and I'll get them near the end. Roger's already preempted the Villa Wolves and he's gone 3-0. Roger's hat tricks. Yes, my man. Yes, he knows. He knows. Eddie's gone 3-0 as well. Good to see you as well, Eddie. Good to see you, mate. Abdul says, Thomas has to be better offensively. They're the worst in the league in making passes that break lines. Also one of the worst in progressive passing. Do you know what, Abdul? I think he needs to start a show because that is technically just 100% right. They don't have anybody to break the lines, like you said. And the one individual that brought in to do that, who was that? Xavi. Now, again, I'm more of an eye test manager. I do look at data, but I'm more eye test, right? Xavi has been really, really bad. Really bad. Now, I've had some Spurs, fans defending it. He's been shocking. He's a quality player. He needs to do better. I know it's going to take him a while to adapt in the league, but I don't know if he's going to be that player, that Madison that they need to break the lines, to put that ball through, the ball over the top. Yeah, I don't know if he is. And if Xavi is going to be, it's going to take him a little while to get into that. So I don't really see anybody in that creative role. Kudos does really, really well, but listen, you've got Kudos, and then you've got, Brennan the other side. They'll probably put two on Kudos. Do you know what I mean? They double up on him, and it kind of takes a lot of Tottenham's attack away, Heather's in the chat. How are you doing, Heather? We're just going. She's got a little question. Do you know what? We're going to keep it to the end, but let's do it now. She says, Mateta on wild card or not? Early sub's going to continue. For me, Heather, nope. Even if you were on, you're on wild card. So for me, no, it's not. He's not clinical enough for me. Palace don't score a lot. They don't batter teams 3-4-0, and they won't this weekend, especially after Europe. All right. So no, Heather, I would not go for that. I'd rather punt on Ollie Watkins. Genuinely, I would. I mean, listen, I think if you're on a wild card, especially this week, you need Haaland and probably Thiago. Thiago's got a really good run coming up. But if I was going to punt on a striker, I'd maybe go Ollie Watkins against Wolves. If this is going to be, if his form's going to increase, which it will, he's still a good player. It's probably going to be against Wolves, who are conceding a lot of nines. Mask work, good to see you. Do you know what? I'm going to continue the question. We're going to take a little question break here. You got any questions? Chuck them in the chat and we'll answer them. Senesi or Timber? Do you know what? It's a difficult one. For me, you probably have to weigh up. They've both got a hard fixture this weekend, but you've got to weigh up long term. With Gabriel out, Timber still getting into really, really good positions. Although Senesi does get the defensive contributions. For me, I'd probably just edge it on Timber. And a lot of managers would probably go Senesi with the defense contributions, but Bournemouth away, and they're away again this weekend, they've been conceding 2-3 per match. So Timber, you could get a clean sheet. You never know. Timber could score the goal that beats Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a close game, I think. So for me, mass work, I would go Timber. Com says, Nketiah worries me for Mateta's minutes. Yet, Com bang on. He came off at 60 minutes the other day, and Glasner's been saying some things. I don't know if he's trying to find a new job and a bigger team, but he's been saying, oh, he should be finishing a bit more Mateta and stuff like that, and he should. So maybe he's just trying to, get him a little bit more inside and be like, do you know what? I'm going to show the manager a little bit, but yeah, I'm not really sure. Project agrees me. He says Bournemouth away form questionable. Yeah, it's more questionable. It's actually pretty poor. It is. Drop any more questions got into me, and I'll just continue as we go on. Yeah. Let's just delve back into it. Okay, so Aston Villa Wolves, that was what we're on. Right, let's go down. I've got Rodgers, and do you know what? Here's a big advocate for the free hit this weekend, and maybe Heather for your wild card. I do like Donny Mallon. Go and have a little look at his record. He's been scoring goals. He's been getting assists. I put it in my little thread this weekend. I really, really like Mallon. For me, the double up, it might be a little bit too much. But if you double up and have Mallon and Rodgers, there's a good chance that you're going to get points from at least one of them. And if Rodgers assists Mallon or Mallon assists Rodgers, then you're in dreamland, which, it is a possibility. It is. Let's go down. Listen, Wolves are getting worse and worse. They are getting, it's just getting from bad to worse. And though the manager made them look a little bit better, it's just not going that well, is it? And they're going to go down, let's be honest. They have to start rebuilding for next year. I think money-wise, they're not doing that well. I think he's been brought in for the rest of the season, and I think he's been brought in for the rebuild. The point that I've got here is they have improved, though, so let's forget that. Don't forget that, sorry. They only faced 4 shots on target from Crystal Palace. Possibly improving, but we've got to see more. And they had 1.76 expected goals against Palace, which is a tough thing to do. So, listen, we won't be too hard on them. I think this isn't the game that, they'll show people, actually, Wolves are okay. There's some chances where they might be able to score and get some draws, but this isn't a game for it, all right? So Wolves, we still have to put them down because they are doing really, really bad. I mean, are they in terms of leads? I think they are. I think they're probably just down a little bit. We'll go back up. Villa, listen, Villa on a high. Their home record's really, really good. They're doing well in Europe. They've done fantastic. So I'm putting them way up here. Let's go and have a look at that fixture again. And now Aston Villa have moved up. They're up to 5th now, all right? And look at that fixture. Look at that fixture. Bright green. For me, you need an Aston Villa attacker. I like Rodgers. I really do. He's just on the ball. He just makes things work. He's just a quality player. I mean, that free kick the other day, the first thing I was like, what's the keeper doing? But actually, he gets it up and down so quick that he's not got a chance to respond. And yeah, Rodgers done really well. He could have maybe had a hat trick. But hey, I won't be greedy. It's only because I missed out on one. Then if we go down and we have a look at Wolves, look Aston Villa, that's white, but actually it should be a bit more red, shouldn't it? Either way, it's a light red. Either we're going to get battered. For me, I think it's a 3-0. I think Proj put in there 3-0. Everyone else put in what you think it is. But I want a piece of it. And like I'm saying, if you want to go a bit different, I really do like the Watkins pick. Again, that's like, going a little bit rogue because people will have off Haaland. But yeah, if you want a little bit more, you got a little bit of cash, maybe take a punt. Okay, we keep going down. Man United Palace. Right, at the moment, let's have a look at this, okay? So Man United are middle of the road with the fixtures. They've got Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Villa. Now for me, okay, that's middle of the road with the fixtures. They're fairly tough, but they're going to play a little bit of a tired Palace. It'll still be close. Then they're going to play West Ham, who are improving a bit. A rubbish Wolves, a poor Bournemouth away from home, and then a poor Villa away from home, but they have improved. For me, I wouldn't be looking at any defenders. I'd be looking at attackers. Do they score goals over these 5 periods? They do. And again, I've got to look at these players over this Christmas period. All right. For me, I want Bruno. I do want Bruno. And those who know me, I'm not a fan of United. I'm really not. I used to be a fan of United, or not an actual fan. Just I love their football. Grew up in the '99, the treble winning team and all that. They are improving, but I do think Bruno. I think we need him because he doesn't have European football. Do you know what I mean? Even in the short space where it's like 3-4 days, on every game, or between every game, I want him because he's got so many route to points. Just every time he touches the ball, I think I'm like this. I'm cringing. I've got that knot in my stomach because I think he's going to do something. And let's be honest about this. He's a world class player. He is a world class player, and a world class player that has no Europe. Against a team that do score a lot of goals, or more than last season. I want that in my team. Anyway, let's go down and have a little gander. Man United, let's see where we are. I mean, if we can get them in the same thing, yep, we can. Look, so there's Palace, all right, and there's Man United. Palace are just ahead. Listen, we're going to bump Palace up a little bit because they're playing well. They are tired, but they're still a really, really good. He gets maximum out of them at home, Glasner, doesn't he? And again, Palace are at home. Important because Man United are not as good away as they are at home. I say this off the back of a defeat to Everton, but you know what I mean, all right? Man United, I'm going to go down a bit. I am. I'm going to go up with Palace. It seems like we're going extreme in this, but it's just to highlight the changing colours, all right? Let's go up and have a look at this. Man United against Palace is now a white fixture, okay? And then if we can have a wee look at Palace, if we can find them, there they are. It says United is a light green fixture. No, it's not. It's still going to be tough. Palace are getting tired, but I probably expect them to shade this. I really do. After this, I think they'll find it tough. Listen, they've got Burnley after that, and they can have a little bit of a rest. In terms of who's coming up next, listen, I swapped Eze for Sarr. But let's see how that pans over the next 2 or 3 game weeks because Palace have got United, then they've got Burnley, and then they've got Fulham. So they've got a really, really good run. Key one in the middle there is Burnley. Sarr could get back in track and he could average that Eze move out over time. All right. Defenders. Okay, still a tough game. Could United score? Yes, they could, but I'm keeping Munoz, even on a free hit, even on a wild card. Am I keeping Lacroix? Probably not. And Kieran hit the nail on the head the other day. He got an attack in return the other day, Lacroix, and I think that's maybe his second this season. So he's not going to get them all the time. Defensive contributions, yeah, he will. But yeah, I'd probably move off and Lacroix, and I'd probably get a different defender who's got more of a chance. I'd probably maybe swap him for, maybe not this weekend, but Milenkovic, something like that. And O'Reilly, that's a straight swap. So yeah, that's what I'll probably do. And listen, I could still make a move. I've got Chalobah who is going to come out. so he could, he could come in instead. But yeah, let's just think, United are always one game away, and I've put this in my notes. They're one game away from implosion every single season. Oh, we're back on, and then they go down. Do you know what I mean? And then they're getting used to the players. Sesko's been rubbish. Listen, let's get to the crux of this, ladies and gents. You cannot have a manager in the Premier League that plays one dimensional, one formation football. You get found out. It's the best league in the world. You cannot do it. And that's what he does. When Everton went down to 10 men the other day, he didn't make a reaction. He didn't haul a player off to put an attacking player on, or at least change his formation or his tactics or his style of play. He kept exactly the same. A back five, or with wing backs, but still it's a back five at times in transition against a 10-man Everton at home. He's unfortunately, I thought he was going to come and smash it. I did. Kieran will tell you this. I thought he was going to come and ruin the league, and he's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. I'll dip back into the chat. Mark Ravenman says, I wouldn't want Buendia in my regular team, but on a free hit home to Wolves, he's a good pick. Yeah, Buendia, he only came in for me because Villa weren't doing that well. I don't think Emery's that big a fan of him. He's good to have in the squad, but for me, I'd probably go more Malin. I'd probably have Malin and Rodgers together and then Buendia after. But listen, it's still a good pick. Another good point that Proj picks up, give the stream a like if you haven't. Yes, please, give it a like. I'm looking at the counter now. It's gone up again. Up by 3. Yes. Keep it going. I like it. Listen, it's good for you all to join me on Friday anyway. I enjoy doing it. And the more likes we get, the more subscribers, all that, we can interact. Yeah. We can be together. Eddie's gone 2-2 for that fixture as well. Yeah, he's gone for a 2-2. Proj has gone 2-2 as well. A little Desi. We love a little Desi on this show. Yeah, it'll be close. Could be goals. It could be. We'll have to see. I don't know. I'm probably... Palace are a little bit too good at home for me. United is still in a bit of a spin. I'm going to hope 1-0 Palace. And that's because I've got 2 Palace defenders. So I'm being a little bit biased, but we get to be sometimes, don't we? Okay, on to the few remaining still. If you are still with us, which I hope you are, it has got maximum value because I've been doing this all season, and it's something that before this season we didn't realize. We thought, oh yeah, it's pretty easy. A game's either easy or it's hard. It's not that simple. So that's why, for me, this is a staple, and hopefully it's a staple for you guys and girls to come in as well as watching other fantastic pods like Above Average, Fantasy Football Scout with all their really, really good pods, Black Box, the Scoutcast. Yeah, so hopefully this is on your register, and it's one of the checklists at the end. One of the checklists. Oh, they've been playing really well. Oh, actually, let's have a quick look at the fixture ticker. Yeah, on FPL Double Pivot. So yeah, please like, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff. Anyway, let's get back into it. We're going to go for Arsenal. We're going to leave to the very, very end. We'll keep you guessing. Brentford, Burnley. Listen, Burnley are 20th for expected goals. They're 20th for goals conceded. They're just 20th. They're just at the bottom, aren't they? They're just poor. All right. They're playing a Brentford side that are scoring goals. I do think, and I put on my thread that Thiago's good. I think I'm going to get him this weekend against Burnley. I have to, but I think his numbers have been a little bit inflated by penalties. That being said, I think he's a good quality player. So I think it evens out. Do you know what I mean? And people always use, that's why you get a penalty taker. If Bruno scores, that's what people say all the time. And they're right. That's what they get him for. Burnley, let's have a wee look. Yeah, I wouldn't have any players, even on the bench. But I was thinking about Ugochukwu. But even on bench boost, he does look okay in that team, but he's not going to get much of a haul, is he? Do you know what I mean? Coming down to Brentford, Thiago's nailed the second, striker slot. That's nailed. I do think he's a bit inflated, but he's a quality player. He's a class player. My assessment pre-season. Listen, at Brentford pre-season, I said that they weren't that bad, and people are tagging them for relegation. They've got so many leaders on that pitch. All right, you've got Pinnock who's come back. You've got Collins. They had a lot of injuries. They got Hickey. Got Damsgaard who stepped up. And kind of filled that space in Norgard. Now they've got another injury. Who's come back, which is Thiago. Shadi can turn it on when he wants to. They've got enough in their team to stay up. Kelleher. All right, they've got enough in the team to stay up. Against Burnley, though, is it going to be a big or small win? I'm going big. I'm going to go 3-0. Burnley are really, really bad. They're going down here. A little bit better at home, point to note, but yeah, still not as good. Brentford, they're on a bit of a roll. So let's go back and have a look at this. Look at that. Burnley for Burnley now, it's a white fixture. And Brentford, bright green for Burnley. You need an attacker in this. Some people have looked at Utara. Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad. Yeah, I think it's one of them. If he is, he's in for like one game. I mean, after that, he's got Arsenal, Tottenham. Okay, you could hold him for Leeds, but in a 4 game week, in over 4 games, do you want to bench him for half of them? No, you don't really, and you don't want to bring him against Arsenal and against Tottenham. All right, so it's a no from me. Elsewhere, let's go down, have a look. I think that's us in terms of fixtures. Just the glaring obvious big one. Uh, yeah, it's just a big glaring obvious big one now. Let's delve into it. It is it's Chelsea v Arsenal. It's a difficult one. Chat, put it in there and see what you think because I'm in a little bit of two minds. I am. On one hand, I think it'll be close, and I think it will. But from what I've been seeing of Chelsea recently, they've not been that good at the back. And in my notes, I just brought them up there. Their mistakes at the back will start to catch up with them, and they'll start conceding. They take too many risks, and last weekend they took far too many risks. Either little suicide balls back to Sanchez, who again, let's not forget, he's not the best keeper, especially not the best with the ball, or Chalobah progressing the ball and ball carrying from defence to midfield. Quite often they overcommit, they push forward. Cucurella pushes forward a lot. All right, Gusto sometimes pushes forward a lot, and quite often they're caught. So if you've got a counter team, and listen, Arsenal can counter when they want to, especially Eze, rapid. I do feel like they could get at them pretty hard. They've got the youngest team in the league, Chelsea. So I do think sometimes they can be a little bit naive. Now listen, they're at Stamford Bridge. They're not going to be naive against top of the table Arsenal. But still, I think with that comes a little bit of, infancy in their decision making. Now they do have one person to keep them safe is Caicedo. The guy, he's just a warrior. He's like a Spartan warrior, all right? So they've got him to keep him safe. But listen, is he enough against an Arsenal team that in 2 weeks, let's go over this. The first game, they battered Tottenham, their rivals, 4-1. And they only scored because Richarlison scored an outrageous lob. It was fantastic. I'm sure you all seen it. It was exquisite. So they battered the North London rival. They then go and play Bayern, and they smash them up as well, 3-1. So I think Chelsea are in danger of maybe a little bit of a hiding. I do. And that's tough because we all think it's going to be close. And it could be a 1-1. Listen, Chelsea could maybe grind it out 1-0, although I doubt it. I've just got a feeling, I think Arsenal are going to put 2 or 3 past them, just with the defensive not being that good. I also think it'll be a clean sheet for Arsenal, more likely. Because, listen, I've put in my notes, Delap and Pedro. Let's talk about Delap first. Delap is not good enough to lead the line for Chelsea. He is not good enough. He can't hold the ball up. He can't interlink with his players that well. He can't read the game that well. He's not good enough. And I think we all raised an eyebrow when everyone went, Chelsea? I think it's a little bit of a footballing crime that team, especially that midfield, has then got that striker ahead of him to hold the ball up. And sometimes I feel like they're playing with 10 men. I watched them at the weekend and they were so frustrating. He couldn't hold the ball up, and it was like they were playing with 10 men. They didn't have an outlet up front. Now, listen, Pedro's no, he's probably not much better. I owned him. All right, I still have him just now. However, he is probably going to go to Thiago. He was shocking as well. Just wasn't in the right position, made the wrong runs. He just, yeah. Whether it be 9 or 10, he's just not good enough. Currently, I think the difference between Delap and Pedro is Pedro has the quality to be a top player. I think he really does. Um, yeah. Elsewhere, yeah, mistakes at the back, and that's what I said there. If we go down and have a little look at Arsenal, do we really need to go into Arsenal? We don't. We know what Arsenal are about, don't we? The Eze pick, I know there's a lot of people getting him in, and when he hits a hat trick, when anyone hits a hat trick, you want to get that person in because, listen, if they hit a hat trick, they're involved in everything. And I've been seeing that for a little while. He's always involved. He's in that number 10 role now that Odegaard's been injured, but he does like to float and he gets a little bit of a free rein. His creativity is fantastic. And that's why I think he's important for the next wee while, and I have done for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 game weeks. He's got that creativity to unlock those difficult defences. And, at Chelsea are a difficult defence, especially if you can get past their defensive midfield of Caicedo and, that workhorse Enzo in the middle. In terms of score, I really think it's going to be 2-0 Arsenal. I really, really do. And it could even be 3. 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. If I had to choose one, I'd go 2-0. I would go 2-0 Arsenal. And I think I'll probably do that in my predictions at the weekend with the lads. We'll come down. Anyway, that's what we're here for. We're ready for the predictions. Arsenal, they've got to be near the top of the table. Look like they're maybe march on to league. Chelsea, they're going to come up as well a bit here. So all signs point to a tough fixture. Of course, we knew that. It's a white fixture for Arsenal. Chelsea, though, is a red fixture. So for me, and I'm pretty sure I look at the odds, Arsenal top of the table, there's more chance that Arsenal win than Chelsea. But you never know. I think someone was asking me earlier about Timber. Listen, for me, Gabriel, I've held him just now. I'm willing to take a few downrated ones until I feel I can choose a defender that I'm going to have for the long term. All right. We are going to go into my team for game week 13. So stay tuned. Again, like, sub, all that good stuff. And thank you very much to everyone who's joined me on a Friday. To use your Friday to listen to me talk about fixtures. Thank you very much. I love it, especially when the black box on at the same time. So I like it. And yes, look who it is. Big Reedy. Big Reedy in the chat. Good to see you, big man. Do you like that? It was a little bit of a poor one. It's like a poor one. But yeah, good to see you, pal. Thanks very much for joining. Prod says, I think it's early days with the lap chain. Yeah, I get it. For me, I get that raw feeling about a player. And they can change my opinion. Eyebrows were raised when he went there. I don't think he's good enough. And for that team, they need a world class, or at least a tried and tested number 9. And Delap, isn't it? He could be an understudy, but they need a solid number 9. Mark Guay come on the other day for 15 minutes, and he's done more than what Delap done in his time. So they need to be better. Ladies and gentlemen, drop any questions in the chat, and I'll do them as I'm doing my game week 13 team. All right. Talking of questions, we've got them. I've asked, and they will receive. Would you go Barnes or Malin on a free hit team? I would go Malin. Yep, pretty set about that. I didn't really have to think twice. Barnes is doing really, really well, but he's a bit of a hot and cold player. Do you know what I mean? He gets in and out. So for me, I'd go Malin. I think Malin's got a good chance of doing very well this weekend. And actually, while we're on the subject, Harvey Barnes. Listen in, Harvey Barnes. You're a fantastic player. But Scotland came calling for you before. We came calling, we said, would you like to choose Scotland instead of England? And what did you say, Harvey? You declined the invitation. So now, when we're at the World Cup, don't come crawling back in and try and go to the World Cup because you will not go with England. Now, some people say we need him. He would be a fantastic addition, and I agree. He would be a fantastic addition. However, for Scotland, you either want to play for them or you don't. Look at McTominay. He chose Scotland straight away. All right. Obviously, he didn't think he was good enough. Would he get an England squad now? I dare say he would get an England squad now. However, he's wanting to play for Scotland and he's in. He's in. So for me, Harvey Barnes, I'm sorry, but it's a no from me. Try and get in the England squad instead. Anyway, that's my chores for the night done. He says, what about Van de Ven against Fulham? I wouldn't bring him in, mate. I wouldn't bring him in, Mask. I wouldn't. I think Spurs will concede, even though I don't think Fulham are the best. I think they'll concede, especially from crosses. Fulham like to cross the ball in. Look at Jimenez's finish at the weekend. Oh, that was exquisite, by the way. They just can't deal with crosses. This is actually maybe one that Anderson could get something because they just can't jump Spurs. So if you've got Anderson, you've got him on the bench, I'd probably play him. Prod says, am I an idiot? First of all, no, you're not an idiot. Legend. Leave Mateta on the bench. Playing Thiago and Haaland up top. Put in the chat, Prod, who have you got in midfield that you're going to play or defence that you're going to play over him? For me, I don't think it is. Against United, what's his ceiling? For me, you've got to think of his ceiling. For me, Thiago and Haaland. Haaland's got Leeds. Thiago's got Burnley. I mean, listen, Haaland could do some real damage this weekend. If you still got triple cap, get him on it. Get him on Haaland because you're not having a better opportunity. And Burnley, they concede a lot. He could probably score two. He could get a penalty. Thiago could get a hat trick. All right. So I don't think you are. Again, maybe keep him. Keep him if you don't have the fixture, if you don't have the transfers, or you could take him, downrate him, and then get a better midfielder. Sandra says thoughts on my team. If you put your team in the chat, big man, I will have a little gander. Com says Kolo Muani looks decent. It's funny this one, Com, actually. I've only seen him in one game, and that was the London Derby, and it's a hard game to do. All right, sorry, the Chelsea game. It was a hard game to do. He's really good in Champ League, and he's a Champ League player. I don't think he's that good in the Prem just now, but I have to see more. The jury is out. The jury is out. Eddie says, Shane, Ireland lost Grealish and Rice. They played friendly for England. Yes. We're a bit off topic here, but I agree with you. Declan Rice, fantastic player. However, you already chose who you want to play for. All this there's a friendly, I've not played competitive football. No. I'll direct you to Dennis Law. Go and have a look and Google Dennis Law and what it means to play for Scotland. And then come back and tell me you want to play for a different country. All right? And even if it's going to help us, Barnes, I'm not doing it. Prod says, I've got Bruno, Embuemo, Bruno, Rice, and Soboslai in mid. Oh, yeah, you probably play Soboslai in this game, mate. But Kieran's got him as well, and I do not like that move. I don't like it. Again, he's changing position from right back to centre, centre mid, that 10 position. He could well play right back this weekend, so I don't like it. Listen, you got to play him anyway. I'd play him over Mateta, though. I really, really would. Mateta could get hooked after 65 minutes, and Ketter's back like he did midweek. Prod says Timber, Munoz, Guehi, and O'Reilly in defence. That's a great defence. That is a great defence. I like the Timber and I love the O'Reilly. The Timber, honestly, he's big and strong. And on his side, well, actually, if you think about it, big Timber, it doesn't matter if he's against Cucurella or Gusto. Probably more Gusto because Gusto is not as good as Cucurella, but he moves forward and Timber is, I tell you what, that Timber punt, it's got me thinking now. Heather says, who would you have as your third forward? No dead spots. Depends how much you got, Heather. If you've got three strikers, you've not got as good a midfield. For me, I think midfield is the key, especially this season. No dead spots. I would have Haaland, Thiago, and if it's down, if you got enough money, I'd probably have Watkins for this weekend. That's just me. If not, you'd have to take a little bit of a punt, wouldn't you? Where would you go? And I don't think it's conducive to do three strikers. Kieran bats on about it quite often. It's quite expensive. I'd maybe go like a Welbeck. He's picking quite a few goals up. It's funny actually. I think Callum Wilson might score against Liverpool this weekend because Liverpool don't really deal with number 9s that well, unfortunately. So it's difficult, but money wise, that's where I'd go. Right, Sandra, your team got Raya, Munoz, Gvardiol, Mukiele, Fernandez, Bruno G, Rice, Paqueta, Mateta, Thiago, Haaland, triple captain. Yep, I think triple captain, 100%. Geraint Haaland, he could score 4. Remember, he's playing against the team that his dad used to play for. All right, so he wants to do a good showing. He spent a lot of his years in Leeds, so it means a lot to him, and he wants to smash it in that stadium. He could get 4. He could even maybe get 5. I might clip this for when Haaland joins the 5. Well, he's already in the 5 goals club, but he might do it again. I think it's a really good team. I'd triple captain him. I love, for me again, someone else has got Mateta. Who have you got mid? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, who's your other midfielder? I'd probably play your other midfielder over Mateta, but if you tell me who that is, I'll be able to let you know. And that's a great team. That is a great team, and it screams goals for me. Semenyo is not guaranteed to start tomorrow, Abdul says. Yeah, he's not. He said he should be fit, but I don't know. I mean, as long as you've got a good bench, I get the feeling, though, he could come on from the bench, which isn't the best. But listen, it takes him 2 seconds to score, all right? Mark says, keeper out to Scotland. What do Scotland fans think of Elliot Anderson? I think he's a class player, mate. I think he's a class player. And, hey, we tried to get him when he was in Newcastle. We tried to get him. and he declined because he was trying to get an England team. Yeah, I'd be open to him coming, mate. If he wants to come and play for us, I would. But I think England they've got the grips in him. They're really good. Yep. Any more questions? I'll move on to my game week 13. All right. So I'll take this away. Got to look at my ugly mug for 2 seconds. We'll add this. That's my points. And boom, game week 13. Abdul says double Palace defence, Munoz with Guehi, or take Guehi out for Virgil van Dijk this weekend. No, Abdul, I wouldn't. Could they get a clean sheet, Liverpool? They could, but I think West Ham will score. They seem to score quite often at London Stadium. Liverpool are shocking right now. They got beat. They conceded 4 again at home midweek. For me, I wouldn't make them. I think it's a waste of a transfer. I really, really do. I think the Palace lads could outscore them. Haaland's on 99 goals. Com says yes, he is. And just imagine. Well, I say if he scores, when he scores, 100 goals in the stadium your dad used to play in and where you grew up from. It's written. It's written in the football and the FPL stars. Sandri says their bench is Dubravka, Caicedo, Senesi, and Richards. What I'd probably do, this is just my opinion, but I'd probably bench Mateta. And I'd probably play either one of them, really, to be honest. I'd probably go Caicedo, actually. Oh, I don't know, it's an Arsenal defence. It's tough, but either way, you're probably going to get defensive contributions from all of them. Richards, Senesi, or Caicedo. Richards might not play, so I'll probably rule him out. I would probably, do you know what? I'll probably go Caicedo because Bournemouth's away. Senesi, even though you might get defensive contributions, he's away. Massport says Timber, Cashel, Riley, Guay in defence. Martinez between the posts. Roger, Saka, Shady, Bruno in mid. Haaland, Tego up top. I like it, Massport. I like it. That's fantastic. Anyone? Yeah, done the questions. Right, let's talk about my team because we're just over an hour and we'll cap it off soon. But again, while you're listening, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And thanks very much for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Sandra says, suggesting then Mateta out to who for a -4. I'd put Thiago in. Sandra, have you got Thiago? Just remind me if you got Thiago. Let me have a candor. I think you said you do, didn't you? Yes, you do. For me, let's have a look at your team, mate. We'll put it on the group. Rice, Paqueta. I mean, that's a good 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, maybe just bench him. You don't have to take a -4. You just play your best players. And Palace, Palace have got some good fixtures coming up, so he could over the Christmas period, he could get some runs. I'd probably keep him. I'd just bench him, mate. I'd bench him for a defensive contribution. Probably Caicedo. I think Caicedo. Listen, it could be a 0-0. Caicedo could get maximum bonus points. Could get DEFCON. I'd probably play him. It's a tough one, but yeah, I'd keep it and wait. And then you got 2 transfers in your hand for next week, or you can make 3 and just have a -4. Anyways, talk about team. Game week 13. Last 5-10 minutes. I'll take that off the screen so you can see my beautiful team. And it's funny because quite often when your team, you think, oh, this is going to smash it. It doesn't smash it that much. But then when you think, oh, I don't know about last week or this week, then it does well. Anyway, I've got Vicario in net against Fulham at home. Then I've got Munoz and Lacroix at home against Palace. They're locked. They're all going nowhere. I've then got Senesi, who I think I'm going to play because my bench is a bit weak. And I've got Shalaba. Shalaba is going to come out. He's either going to be for O'Reilly or, I mean, it's probably going to be O'Reilly. Okay, but I have chopped up to a slightly cheaper defender, but I've got the money. Especially with Gabriel on the bench. I've got Gabriel and plenty of money. So for me, I'll probably take Shalaba out. And we're going to kind of skip to the front, but João Pedro is going to come out. Chelsea fixtures, they're getting hard now. And Thiago's going to go in against Burnley. So that's a lock. I'm going to do those 2 moves for a -4. All right, we'll come back to that in a second. In midfield, beautiful midfield. Rodgers at home to Wolves, locked. Reinders at home to Leeds. He's locked. For me, I think Reinders will start. He's a bit more attacking. And I think it's probably because I've got him, but I'm feeling a Reinders return. I really am. So he stays. Gakpo, he stays due to the injuries. He will start. He'll play the majority of the game, if not all of the game. And he's one of the main outlets. He looked good again at the weekend for Liverpool, and he looked good midweek, even though Liverpool were the best. So, yeah, I think he stays. Got Saka. Listen, Saka's starting to cook, mate. All the attention's on Eze, and quite rightly, but Saka had a few nutmegs in the weekend, and he's starting to turn it on a little bit. And again, I go back to this point. If Pepe, good evening, big man. Good to see you. If Arsenal are going to win the league, which I think they are, Saka and Eze, especially Saka, needs to step it up. He needs to get these goals in, and I think he might start this weekend against Chelsea, who the defence is not the best. Sarr, he's got to stay. I took him off for Eze last week. I've got to follow through the process, so he's going to stay. All right. And then up top, obviously, it's Haaland. Captaincy, never in doubt. Sometimes we can go against, but this weekend is not that weekend to go against. All right. On the bench, Petrovic. Could do it away against Sunderland, but they're quite strong. Pedro, which was turned into Thiago. Gabriel, who'll stay there. I'm happy to drop another value. Sometimes, all right, doing nothing is a strategy. Just waiting it out so you've got another transfer. And for me, I wasn't in a rush. And I think that's maybe why the Virgil van Dijk, maybe not mistake, because he might do well this weekend, but the rush to get him. You know, people didn't really see the fixtures. Nottingham Forest, I thought they would score and I think they'd win, and he's about the same money, so he's a placeholder. And I get it, but for me, I'm a bit more form fixtures over, a history. And then on the bench, there's Mark Guay. Mark Guay is coming into a bit of a nightmare as well. He's blocking my third Chelsea position, but I'll be taking 2 Chelsea players up this weekend, so I don't really have to think about that. I'm going to deal with them when I get the 5 free transfers. All right, he's going to go, and he'll probably come in for another dead spot, to be honest, or a striker that doesn't really play. I need to maximise my midfield and probably my defence. But yeah, that's my game week 13. Drop in the chat, guys and girls, and think, put in what you think of the team. I think it looks good, especially when they change Chalobah to O'Reilly and then Pedro to Thiago. The issue I have, and again, help me in the chat, who do I then drop? Because O'Reilly plays, the 2 Palace defender plays. Rodgers, Saka, Sarr, Gakpo, Reinders, they stay. Who do I drop? For me, I think I'm going to go Senesi. Or I think I'm going to drop Senesi because I think they score Sunderland. And again, they weren't the best last week. So he could stay, but I think he goes. I think he goes. With O'Reilly coming in, he's going to start. Or what I could do, and this is probably what I will do, is Senesi out and Thiago in. That would mean a -4 for me, but I'd set up for the long term. Thiago, over this period, I've said it and I'll say it again, he's got no European football. So he's going to be fresh and he's going to play well. Heather says, Reinders or Senesi? Yeah, I get the Reinders pick. I feel there's something inside me. I think Reinders is going to get that assist and he's back on the menu. You know what Man City players are like. 1 minute they're hot, 1 minute they're cold. And I think this is the game that he comes back into it. Senesi, though, as well. Yeah, Heather, I get your point. And I think, for me, I think I'm going to take Senesi out. Remember, Bournemouth have been conceding a hell of a lot of goals away. And they've only got to concede one for him to lose his clean sheet. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. Prod just put in the chat, he says he agrees as well. Jackie, good to see you tonight, pal. And O'Reilly, a no-brainer. Yeah, I think this will be my second hit of the season. And I don't like taking hits, but after watching Nightmare and kind of, we're always improving as FPL managers, hits aren't actually that bad, especially if it sets you up, and especially if you're going to make that move anyway. A -4 isn't bad, all right? Heather says, because of that, I'm kicking Senesi out my wild card. Yeah, he's not been as good as the start of the season. I do think he is due an attacking threat soon, a goal, but in the short term, maybe not. If you didn't have him, Heather, if you've not got him and you're going to bring him in, he's quite expensive for what he is now. If you got him cheap, I think I got him 4.7. I'll probably keep him. But yeah, he's probably not worth the money. What is he now? What, 5.2? I wouldn't say that's worth the money. Colm says Sunderland are far better home than they are away. Yeah, they are. The other day they had, I think it was 0.14 XG, which is really, really bad, clearly. All right. Hippie says they added DEFCON, yet hits stayed the same at -4 bargains. Yeah, that's something to consider. And Hippie's bang on with that. DEFCONs are basically kind of like a free move. All right, if they get DEFCON, then that's your 4 points. That's, kind of like your minus 4 done. So do consider that. Pam, good to see you. So do I need to use all my free transfers in game week 16 or can I keep them to game week 17? No. So you get 5 free transfers. Okay. If you've got any transfers up until then, they disappear. All right. But you don't have to use them in one single week. All right. They're just 5. They've refreshed, they've reinvigorated all your transfers. So start looking up to that time. All right. Because that's when you get 5. I mean, listen, if you burn, there'll be people who burn transfers. That might be the right move. All right. What I would probably say is if you've got a free one, just change someone on the bench to someone who's stronger. If you've got a strong team and not any money to change anyone, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You can't change anyone. All right. So just consider that. Heather says I also got Senesi at 4.7. I like it, Heather. I like it. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's Friday evening, so I'm going to get on with it. I'm going to let you choose and select your teams. I'm going to make my transfers tonight. I'm going to post the team up. Again, what else I'll also post is the fixtures, the colours that we've changed, all right? The coding that we've changed, okay? And we're going to have one last look at it just now. And we're going to see where we think the opportunity might be, all right? And I'll try and clip it. And if we do, okay? So going down there, we've got City Leeds. Okay, we know it's an easy win for City. Forest Brighton, for me, maybe opportunity in there. I feel like Forest are going to win that game. Liverpool West Ham, I think they do still win it. I think 3-1, 4-1. Brentford Burnley, Brentford. Newcastle, Everton. I'm feeling an Everton sneaky win. I am. A draw is probably more likely, but I'm feeling an Everton sneaky win. Right, so there's a little bit of opportunity there. Villa Wolves, I think there's opportunity there that we're not really realising. The Rodgers, the Malins, Wolves are shocking. Villa up to 4th now, all right? So watch out for them. Arsenal, don't be put off bringing an Arsenal player in. Really, I don't think. I think they're going to win 2 or 3 now. Bournemouth Sunderland, I think Sunderland will just shave it. Man United Palace, I think it'll be about 1-0. It's pretty straightforward. Tottenham Fulham, I wouldn't say there's much opportunity there. No one you really want to bring in. And then back down to Brighton Forest. All right, so probably the big 2 for me for opportunity is Aston Villa with the midfield assets, or actually, funnily enough, Everton with the midfield assets as well. I really, really do. Up top striker wise, I'd probably go Thiago at Brentford. They've got Burnley. Clearly, everybody's got Haaland anyway, so they're not going to do that. We've talked about Mateta, benching against United, depending on your team, but I would really, really consider it. And then lastly, in defence, okay, again, you've got Arsenal, don't be put off of them, and City, all right? O'Reilly, those kind of players, okay? We'll come back again. What we'll do, any last questions? Any last questions, put them in the chat and we'll finish it up. We will, we'll finish it up. Let's dive into the chat. What we're saying. Com says, I know a DEFCON player that's a Fulham player that's good for DEFCON. Com, actually, I don't know if you were there, about 20, 30 minutes ago. I think Anderson could maybe get a goal against Tottenham. I do. Even though he's not scored in about 2.5 years, Tottenham can't deal with crosses. So I think he can. Pam says, okay, because I need to free hit in game week 16 so I can use 5 free transfers in game week 16. Right, yeah. You need to start thinking about what game. I mean, Pam, it depends what your team is. Some people are free hitting this weekend. If you've got a good team, I wouldn't be bothered about it. I'd maybe look at, maybe 15. 15's not bad as well. But you maybe want to do an opportunity and go against the grain. You could do it in 16 though, and then you got 5 free transfers. All right. He says yes because I have so many City and Palace players. Nice. See, you're lined up for it. Just think about that free hit. Think about the differentials. And again, come back here. We'll have a look at the fixtures and we'll go, do you know what? That game week. Game week for a free hit. Maybe that's something that I should put in actually. A little free hit guide as well. If you do want that, let us know and we can put them in. All right. Eddie says, who do I support? I don't really support an English side. I just watch the Prem. It's the best league in the world. And I think that gives me a bit of an overall better view. I'm not biased towards a team. Do you know what I mean? I've got, slightly favourites. People, I don't like United. But I can see past that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that helps with progressing. Yeah. But I support Dunfermline. Come on, the Pars. Right, anyway, we're about to finish off. Oh, yeah. Prod says, Shane, I support Rodgers. I do, mate. I do. I thought I said the Rangers there. I was like, how dare you? Anyway, we're finishing off now. Any last minute questions you want to put in the chat, we'll do that. And then I'll let you, fantastic people, get off on your Friday. Do your team. Listen, you've got slightly longer tomorrow, so it's a later deadline. However, you want to do it in good time. All right. Like Prod says there, good luck, everybody. Dwayne's in. Good to see you, Dwayne. He says, would you start Senesi over VDK? I imagine that's Van Dijk, is it? Just putting there, Dwayne. Do you mean Van Dijk there? And what's your thoughts on triple captain? You got triple captain, Haaland all day, mate. Haaland all day. It's not even a question. I didn't have to think about it. He's at least going to score two. I think he's actually going to score at least a hat trick, to be completely honest. Yeah, I definitely do that. Senesi, we were discussing that, and actually, I've got Senesi. I'm going to bench him, mate. Yeah, for me, I like playing five across the mid. There's more upside in the five across the mid, especially if you've got good mids. FPL Happy says, in hindsight, would you do your chip strategy differently? I don't know. My triple captain was really good. It was on Haaland early in the season, so that went well for once, because usually it doesn't really go well. My free hit I would have probably kept, because the difference between my other team wasn't the best. But no, I think the rest I wouldn't. I don't like bench boosting on the first day of the season, because you don't really know who's going to play, and you don't know any form, so you're guessing. Yeah, you get rid of it, but I don't like it. Heather says, watch the FPL site app crash tomorrow with all the changes. Yes, exactly. Always do a bus team. So always do the changes you're going to do in the morning, all right? Because sometimes it does crash. It's not the best. We all know it's not the best. And if you're like me, I always take a screenshot just in case it doesn't change. So I can go back to FPL Towers and go, look, I changed this. All right, I do it in plenty of time. I reset the app and restart it. All right, so yeah, do it in plenty of time. Dwayne says, yeah, Van Dijk. Would I start Senesi over Van Dijk? No, I wouldn't, mate. If you got Van Dijk, start Van Dijk. He's got West Ham. They could still get a clean sheet. It's probably one that I'm a bit worried that he could actually score a header, because West Ham still don't deal with crosses that well. Kelman's been shocking the last two games. He just loses his runners as well. So I'd play Van Dijk 100% over Senesi. Bournemouth are away. They've conceded three in the last three games, or three in the last two games at least. All right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to Game Week 13 Fixture Decoder. Again, we're here every single Friday, so do spread the word. Do like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Finally, for the weekend, have a great weekend. Make sure you do your best to get a green arrow. That's what I'm going to do. But above all, enjoy your weekend, okay? Keep an eye on the channel, because there's going to be lots of content over this weekend and next week. It's a very, very tight turnaround for the next games that are midweek, okay? I'll have my veterans vision of all my eye tests over the weekend. That can help you choose some players and get those opportunities. Maybe those players are going to get you hat tricks, okay? And then we will be back for a Game Week 12 or a Game Week 13 review, matchups again, and then back again for a decoder, which will be on Monday night this time, because it's a very, very tight turnaround. But for now, ladies and gents, thank you very much. Before you go, leave a like, and have a great weekend. See you all later.